So, for almost 2 months, developers screamed that Claude Code had gotten dumber. Anthropic employees pushed back. Some said, quote, "This is false." Today, Anthropic admitted the developers were right. Not once, but 3 times over. This is the post-mortem that every AI company should be forced to read. Let's get into it. So at around 1 p.m. Central on April 23rd, 2026, the Claude Devs account posted a thread that racked up 3 million views in hours. The message, quote, "Over the past month, some of you reported Claude Code's quality had slipped. Not some of you, all of you. We investigated and published a post-mortem on the 3 issues we found. 3 issues, all fixed in version 2.1.116. Usage limits are reset for every subscriber." Sounds tidy. It isn't, because the real story isn't the bugs. It's that Anthropic spent weeks telling paying customers the bugs didn't exist. On April 2nd, Stella Lorenzo, a senior director in AMD's AI group, filed a GitHub issue with receipts most bug reports can only dream of. She pulled telemetry from her team's production logs: 6,852 Claude Code sessions, 234,000 tool calls, nearly 18,000 thinking blocks. The data was damning. Files read before editing collapsed from 6.6 to 2. Lazy behavior violations went from 0 per day to around 10. Median visible thinking dropped by more than 70%. This wasn't a vibe check. This was forensic evidence that the product had regressed with p-values. And Anthropic's response for weeks was to push back. An engineer replied to nerfing accusations with a blunt quote, "This is false." Another publicly denied that Anthropic ever degrades models to manage demand. The company's line was, quote, "We don't see it in our evals." Translation, the eval suite couldn't see what thousands of paying developers could see every single day. That gap between what Anthropic measured and what customers felt is the whole story of this post-mortem. Bug number 1. On March 4th, Anthropic quietly changed Claude Code's default reasoning effort from medium to high. Why? Latency. In high mode, the UI sometimes looked frozen while the model thought, so they dialed intelligence down to make the spinner spin less. In today's postmortem, Anthropic's own engineers call this, quote, "the wrong trade-off." It affected Sonnet 4.6, Opus 4.6, and it wasn't reverted until April 7th, more than a month later, and only after users insisted they'd rather wait for a smarter answer than get a fast, dumb one. And here's the kicker. This wasn't a bug. This was a deliberate product decision, shipped silently, with no changelog entry telling paying users their default brain had been downsized. Bug number 2, and this is the nastiest of the 3. On March 26, Anthropic shipped what looked like a sensible optimization. Claude Code sessions had been idle for more than an hour, right here. On resume, the system would clear out old reasoning blocks once to avoid burning tokens on stale context. Except the flag never turned off. Instead of clearing thinking history once, it cleared it on every single turn for the rest of the session. Once you crossed the idle threshold, Claude progressively lost its short-term memory, forgetting why it had made edits, repeating itself, asking for permission for things it had already done, things of that nature. And this is the line from the post-mortem you should tattoo on every QA playbook. Quote, and we'll actually find it. "It made it past multiple human and automated code reviews, as well as unit tests, end-to-end tests, automated verification, and dogfooding." Dogfooding is what in the tech space you call whenever you use your own product, essentially. When you use the same product that gets shipped publicly. Every safety net failed simultaneously for 15 days. It was fixed on April 10th in version 2.1.101. Bug number 3. On April 16th, 1 week ago, Anthropic added a line to Claude Code's system prompt designed to curb Opus 4.7's chattiness. Quote, "Keep text between tool calls to 25 words. Keep final responses to under 100 words unless the task requires more detail." Sounds harmless, but it wasn't. Combined with the other prompt changes, it tanked coding quality across Sonnet 4.6, Opus 4.6, and Opus 4.7. Turns out, when you tell a coding model to shut up, it also stops explaining its reasoning to itself. It was reverted 4 days later on April 20th in version 2.1.116. And if you've been opening up Claude every single day, you've gotten, like myself, you've gotten relaunch notifications like almost every few hours. Like every single few hours, they were making some changes. And I was just like, dude, what's new now? What are you guys doing? Here's a meta lesson, and it matters far beyond Anthropic. You are not using Claude. You are using Claude plus a scaffold, system prompts, default effort, catching rules, thinking budgets, tool definitions, verbosity limits. Anthropic calls this the harness. The weights didn't regress, the harness did. 3 small, well-intentioned changes to the wrapper compounded into a product that forgot things, deflected blame, and rushed to conclusions. The model was fine. The cage around the model was broken. Every AI company is shipping this same kind of harness. Every AI company has the same knobs, and almost none of them tell you when a knob gets turned. VentureBeat nailed this back on April 13th with a line that should be framed, dude, all these fucking ads, that should be framed in every product office. Quote, a model can feel worse to users even if the company believes it has not nerfed the underlying weights. Look at this timeline. First bug. The first bug shipped March 4th. The AMD director filed her forensic report April 2nd. Anthropic didn't publish a post-mortem until April 23rd, 50 days after the first regression landed, and 3 weeks after a senior engineer at a major chip maker handed them the evidence on a platter. 8 weeks of paying developers burning tokens on a degraded product while being told publicly that the product was fine. To their credit, the post-mortem is specific about what changes. Staff will be required to use the exact public build that customers use. A broader per model eval suite will run on every system prompt change. Ablation tests will isolate the impact of each prompt line. Model-specific instructions get gated to the right model. Soak periods and gradual rollouts for anything that could trade off intelligence. And they're shipping their internal code review to customers. And if you wanted to read a little bit more of that information, they kind of go through it here. What they're doing moving forward. It's a grown-up response. The question is whether grown-up responses become the norm, or whether the next compound regression also takes 8 weeks and a viral GitHub thread from an AMD director to surface. If you use Claude Code, update to v2.1.116 or later right now. Your usage limits have been reset, so go check your dashboard. If you built your own .claude/rules file during the dark weeks, and a lot of you did, I wouldn't rip it out yet. Belt and suspenders. Bigger picture, log your own evals. Track your own regressions. Because the lesson of this postmortem isn't that Anthropic is uniquely bad, it's that every AI product sitting on top of a frontier model has a harness. And the harness can ship slop through every internal check and still break your workflow for 2 months. Your telemetry is the only thing that catches it. The model weights are intact. The trust account is overdrawn. Rebuilding it will take more than one good postmortem. It'll take a pattern. Next time Claude Code feels off, believe the developers first. They had receipts this time. They'll definitely have receipts next time. The full postmortem is linked in the description, along with the VentureBeat write-up and Stella Lorenzo's GitHub issue with the data. If this was useful, subscribe. I'm covering the next one of these the minute it drops.